Hi guys, this is Kim. I am with Abundant Life Tarot and I am doing a video series on my Oracle and Tarot collection, and I learned that it's not as vast as I thought. Well, some aspects of my collection is not very, extensive, while others are quite extensive. So we're going to dive in today to my Hay House decks, which I'm excited about because I realize that's probably the most decks that I have amongst all of my Oracle and Tarot. And I'm surprised by that because now I find that my tastes are more drawn towards independent Oracle decks, but there's always still some space and room in my heart for Hay House's Oracle decks and Tarot decks. So let's just go ahead and dive right on in, shall we? Okay, so first up, we have the Good Tarot, and for time purposes, I'm not gonna probably open up or look at every single card because there's already probably tons of videos out there about these decks that you probably have seen or will see, and this is just really highlighting what's in my collection and how I'm using these particular decks. So for the Good Tarot, how I use this particular deck. Initially, I was using it as writing prompts for myself because I am a writer, and I was using it as writing prompts. It is glossy, it's standard Hay House size. All of the cards are the standard size. Then over time, I started loving the images and wanting to see more of them and see them for longer periods of time, so they started hanging out on my altar. This is the King of Water. Here's the Four of Air. And the reason why they go on my altar and they're for my personal use primarily is because I can intuitively read from them as well as look at the guidebook here. And the guidebook speaks in the present tense, for example, Six of Fire, stepping into the limelight, being an enlightened influencer. I generously model my transformation so that others might be inspired. I put my light atop a hill so it can shine forth, helping others to find their way. I remain aware of shadows and people who have trouble basking in the warm light of higher awareness. I bless them, but do not dim my own beacon. It's a time to renew my trust that I am contributing to the highest good of all in my own unique way. Six of Fire, which is traditionally the Six of Wands. And so that's more like an affirmation to me, so which is why I thought it would be perfect for my altar, and it has been. I really have enjoyed working with the Good Tarot in that sense. To do readings for others, yes, I can, and yes, it can even be predictive. I just find that right now, for me, this is the best use for me for this particular deck. And out of Baron-Reid's decks, this is one of the two that I'm using the most right now in terms of her decks. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful deck. And it's glossy, which not so much a fan of, but I'm glad it's not gilded. So hey, it's the small things. So like I said, I won't open up every single box. I promise. But I wanted to open up that one. The Good Tarot by Baron-Reid. And our gal Gina Della Grataglia is the artist. Gorgeous, gorgeous deck. I don't care what anybody has to say about it being foo-foo or whatever. You know, sometimes you just take people, things for what they are, and I was able to find good use for the Good Tarot. All right. And then we're just going to round this off with the last Hay House Tarot deck that I have, which is the Angel Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Artwork by Steve A. Roberts. And this was gifted to me by a friend. And I at first wasn't sure how I was gonna use it, because the decks I've been using for tarot lately have been a little out there in terms of not really safe like Doreen Virtue, but there, of course, is always a time and a place for Doreen Virtue's decks, believe it or not. This is gilded in silver. The gilding has not chipped so far. It's really pretty. And I'm not going to go too much into them here. But I do use this, and I use it actually primarily for readings for others. And occasionally I'll throw a card down for myself for a quick reading, but primarily for others, people who I feel, or who I'm intuitively receiving the vibe that they would prefer something really soft and gentle like Doreen Virtue. But this deck doesn't shy away from the truth. I will say that. It does come with a standard Hay House guidebook, and it is a little difficult to shuffle, just like the good tarot is, because of the size, and I have medium to large size woman hands, and it's still a little challenging to shuffle. But hey, whatever, it works. So there you go. That's the Angel Tarot cards. We have Soul's Journey, and I'm going to show this together with The Power of Love, both created by James Van Praagh. And the Soul's Journey is lesson cards, a 44-card deck and guidebook. And then these are the Power of Love activation cards. And these two primarily are actually in my bathroom. Not on my altar, but I have a ledge that's quite spacious in my bedroom or bathroom, my master bath. And I put these messages up for myself and my husband. And this deck mostly speaks to my husband, I find. The messages seem to be speaking to him, which he seems to enjoy. It is gilded. The gilding is starting to rub off, but I do use this deck weekly at least, so it's to be expected. Here are the backs. Freedom, honesty, and it's not too feminine. It's got sacred geometry, trust, happiness, purpose, peace, patience, worry, balance, guilt, and this is the last one, failure. So not all peaches and roses and all that stuff. It has a guidebook, a very good guidebook. James Van Praagh is a wonderful writer, and so I really enjoy the messages, and so does my husband. And the keywords and phrases and sentences here, they are enough to gain all that you need from the cards, even without reading the guidebook. But hey, the guidebook is just extra on it. And then the Power of Love. I'll just show you a couple of cards. These are the backs. Peacefulness. And they're all heart-like messages. And the guidebook is very good as well. And it says peacefulness. Here's the key phrase. You recognize that balance, kindness, and love bring calmness to your soul. Compassion. Evolution. Detachment. Ownership. And so sometimes these messages really talk well with the other James Van Praagh deck. and they hang out in the master bathroom with myself and my husband, and I adore them. That's what I use them for. Right. Again, this is another Hay House deck, The Power of Surrender cards, a 52 card deck to transform your life by letting go, by Judith Orloff, MD, and she is the author of The Power of Surrender. And I also put these cards on the ledge of my bathroom, and my husband also really likes them. Here are the backs. They are also gilded. Gilding is rubbing off because I do use this frequently. Surrender the Drama. These cards are primarily used for myself, although occasionally I do use them in readings for others. Surrender to Miracle. Surrender to your soul's path. Surrender to your fear of intimacy. Surrender your belief in scarcity. Surrender the habit of people-pleasing. Surrender frustration. Surrender to joy. Surrender to the magic of who you are. Surrender outdated beliefs of yourself. Surrender your ego. Surrender negative thinking. Surrender low self-esteem. Surrender stubbornness. Surrender stress. Surrender to wonder and awe. Surrender worry. Surrender procrastination. Surrender to what is. Surrender to silence. Surrender to your intuition. I mean, it could go on, and it does, and it's beautiful. The messages are always on point and accurate. My husband and I both enjoy seeing the messages from this card. It speaks right to how our week is going to be. It's part of my weekly forecast for myself. And yeah, I adore this deck. I use it very frequently. Does that even make sense? I don't know. This is the Energy Oracle, a 53 card deck and guidebook by Sandra Ann Taylor. There's quite a few reviews out there, so I'm not going to open up this deck. It was one of the first Energy Oracle decks that I connected with and actually had some predictive moments with. It kind of opened me up to Oracle a lot more, and I was surprised by it. I just really was. I haven't used it much lately though, and I'm a little like, I want to try and incorporate it more in some of my wintry kind of readings, so we'll see how that goes. But it's a lovely deck. I really do like the messages. I like the energy of the deck. I vibe with it, so I have a feeling we will dance again soon. I'm going to bring these two out, or actually these three out together. Some more Colette Baron-Reid. We have the Enchanted Map Oracle cards, a 54 card deck and guidebook. Wisdom of the Oracle, a 52 card deck and guidebook. And then we have a 52 card Oracle deck postcards from Spirit. I've just recently did a review on this deck. Love this particular deck. Was very, at first I wasn't so sure about it in the beginning, but now I just really adore it because it gives me a message right when I need it, and it's exactly what I need to hear at the time I need to hear it. It's just amazing. So if you want to see more about that deck, check out that video under my deck discussions playlist, or just you can type in postcards from Spirit and find it that way. And then of course I'm not going to bore you guys with yet another unboxing of the Wisdom of the Oracle. You guys have seen it a million times. I haven't used it a lot lately. Sometimes I just pull it out to look at the images. I'm hoping that this Christmas I end up using it, because to me sometimes it I don't know, it kind of speaks to me around Christmas, and every now and then in the spring, but primarily Christmas or winter time. So I'm looking forward to that, as I will also continue to try to work with the Enchanted Map. Great deck as well, but I have been playing a lot with my independent oracles and not so much with my mass marketed ones that, you know, it's just the way it is right now. But I have been playing with my postcards from Spirit, so, you know, in time, I'll come back around to these beautiful decks. I know I will. I feel it. Okay, so we have Earth Magic Oracle cards, a 48 card deck and guidebook by Stephen D. Farmer. Love this deck. Thick, chunky guidebook. Love the backs. Love the keywords fog, veiled, music, harmony, forest, breath, lightning, power, waterfall, effortless. Let's see what else we got. Tsunami, wake up call. I love that one. New moon, promise. Winter solstice, reflection. River, movement. Dragonfly, emergence. Ceremony, invocation. And then full moon, completion. So I'm not going to keep going because I'm sure there's tons of reviews out there of this deck as well, but I do use this mostly for client readings, although occasionally I do do readings for myself. With this lovely deck. Sorry, I'm getting sleepy. It's late here, but it's the only time I can have some quiet in the house. Earth Magic Oracle card decks. Okay, we're rounding it on down. I'm trying to do them in like sections of creators if I can. So next up, we have Denise Lynn's Native Spirit Oracle cards and her most recent Sacred Traveler Oracle cards. This one is 44 cards and this one's 52. There's tons of reviews out there. I'm not gonna open this one up, as is there. I just did a review on this one, or an unboxing that you can check out and see all the details. But I have to say, I thoroughly enjoy this deck for both my readings for myself and readings for others. It is, it just really sums up a reading really nicely, whether it's an oracle or both an oracle and a tarot reading. It ties up everything nicely and gives some nice, good, solid advice and action steps for the person to do, and I appreciate that. As is, oh, sorry, thought I saw a bug on me. It was like lint. Anyways, same with Native Spirit. I don't usually use this for client readings. This is more like soul work that I do for myself, or maybe for like a sibling, or not a sibling, my sister. I only have one sibling, or like a relative or a close friend. This is the kind of deck that I like to consult when I just want to do a little bit more deeper homework on myself. So yeah, I will be keeping these for a good while to come. I'm finding that I'm using the Sacred Traveler a lot more frequently than the Native Spirit, but I use the Native Spirit when I'm called to, and I don't feel any sense that I need to get rid of this deck at any point right now. I'm enjoying it. It's just I use it when I'm good and ready. So, yeah. All right, and then we Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom Oracle Cards by Christine Northrup, MD, a 50-card deck and instruction booklet. And I will open this one because I have not done a review. And I may do a review sometime in the future. I may not. I haven't decided yet. But just to kind of give you a few highlights. I think I've used this reading or this card in a client reading once. And I've used it mostly on myself. It's matte cardstock. Beautiful images. It's from my favorite artist, Gina Della Grataglia, and I always have to look to see how to actually say her last name, which is why I looked. But her beautiful artwork is on many of A House's decks. So I mean, there you have that. And this is actually like a system here with the wisdom. Or excuse me, the women's wisdom. It's broken up into sections. So it's broken up in the sections of the following: fertility and creativity, partnership, nurturance, self-care, self-expression, and enlightened heart and mind. And then there's several cards that are divided up equally into those sections. And then you read the card meanings. And there are spreads in here, I believe in the back. Talks about chakra healing and actually quite a few spreads, which is nice. You'll need the help because it is kind of like its own little oracle system. And you'll see what I mean if you ever get your hands on this deck. Nurturance, self-care, imagine, allow. So if you look that up, and I have to sometimes nurturance, okay, imagine, allow. Imagine what it would be like to have as much nurturing and care as you needed to grow and thrive. Know that it's possible to create this for yourself. Everyone needs and is worthy of nurturance. No one is an island. So, and honestly, like, I was called to get this deck, but I don't use it very often. If I do find that a person would need nurturance and need guidance in any area of life, but just need more of that womanly, gentle yin touch, then I'll come to this deck and do a reading from it. But I don't recommend it for everyone. Not everyone will probably resonate with this deck, but a lot of people would appreciate the matte finish. It's also on the box and on the book, and the messages, because the messages are beautiful. And now we have Doreen Virtue's decks. Wanting to show these all at the same time. And because there's been so many reviews out there of her particular decks, I'm sure I'm only going to just either show a couple from each deck. I did have 5 of her oracle decks at one point, but I gave one away to a teenager who has started dabbling into tarot and oracle, and I thought it was a gentle deck. I forgot the name of it. It's like an archangel deck. Anyways, one of the first oracle decks I ever received or had purchased for myself was the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards, and I was blown away by this deck. I was really called to get it when I went to this New Age store in the town nearby, and I've used them up. I mean, the gilding that's all rubbed off. This card had stalked me and stalked me and stalked me until finally it stalked me from the time I was thinking about first thinking about purchasing a home and all the way to the time that I closed escrow several months later. And then this card stopped coming up in readings from thereafter, which is funny. And those are readings for myself. And I just found that really, really, really funny. But I really love this deck. It means a lot to me. I won't be giving this deck up. Yeah, it's 44 card deck. I think all of her cards, I think she's always stuck to 44 cards for her oracle decks. Then there's the Angels of Abundance, which I include for readings for myself as well as for others. Here are the backs. If you've seen some of my favorites videos, you've probably seen this deck. It is a favorite of mine. It comes with an image, a message. Here's the key phrase, and then even more, there's messages in the Angels of Abundance guidebook. It just goes into the image, phrase, and then the more in-depth meaning. And then I definitely rely on the Romance Angels Oracle for readings for my clients as well as readings for myself, but primarily for others. But I mean, it's really, really accurate, and I appreciate its gentleness and directness, though, in delivering messages about love relationships. Even for single people, there's messages to be found. So I like that. And again, same thing. Black and white image, key phrase, meaning. Let me see if there's any additional. Yeah, no. And then, last but not least, we have the Butterfly Oracle card for life changes. And I love this deck. It's one of my last editions from Doreen Virtue's, collection of if you will, that I've added. And it's got beautiful blue card backings, a great keyword at the top or at the bottom, depending. The butterflies I like. I love butterflies in these vibrant images, although some of the images are reused on some of the cards. But the keywords are specific enough that it'll like surprise someone if it came up in a reading, but also not so specific that it's like only speaking to one person, if you will. Welcome the new, changing your mind, get some rest, which I think it's speaking to me now because it's really late here. Forgiveness, take the next step now. Adult children might be affecting your life. Healing from the past. Emotions. New career. Keep the faith. Leaving. What are you leaving? Self-employment. Retirement. Windfall. Realizations and epiphanies. Body changes. Finances. Dietary change. Parental care. You're stronger than you know. Religion and spirituality. Sobriety. Relationship dynamics. End of an era. Sentimental feelings. Decisions. Seeking and finding. Healthcare change. new exercise program, moving, family changes, support, spiritual growth, hobbies, heavenly signs, grief work, gracefully aging, self-care, motivation, be true to you, and memories. So, love this deck. As you can see, it can speak to many people about many different situations, and I enjoy it. And so I did a video not too long ago about the Doreen Virtues that I would continue to use, and these are it. I gave away the one that I wasn't going to use anymore, and now I've been left with the ones I do use and that I appreciate. So what Doreen Virtue decks, what Hay House decks are you loving, are you working with, or ones that you've released and let go? I'd love to hear from you and hear what you've been playing with in terms of your decks. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of the new subscribers as well as the original OG subscribers. Thank you all so much for joining me, watching me, supporting me. It is much appreciated. Much love to all of you. Many blessings. Bye.